The path of the ascension is the path of love. It is love and the dream of love fulfilled. The disciplines for the initiations of the ascension into a higher consciousness can only be born by love, by the heart and the soul so filled with love for God, the great Guru, that it will endure unto the end of the cycles of human consciousness. The path is straight and narrow, as you have heard. The climb is over rigid heights, scaling, cliffs jagged, over precipice and abyss, into the high road, into the mountains of the Himalayas. Souls are called and impelled by love, the love of the mountaineers, the love of the Elohim, who have anchored their focuses in the heights of the mountains of the earth. Love and love alone is the key to overcoming. For where selfishness lurks, there will be compromise. There will be the moment's hesitation when the battle is lost. The moment of indecision when the idling of energy creates a gap in the spiraling and in the flow and the movement of God. Therefore, in the hour of decision, in the moment when the question arises out of that human questioning, to be or not to be on the path of initiation, we ask a question. We are the hierarchs of Luxor, of the retreat of the ascension flame. We guard the steely white, intense sacred fire that can only be contained by those who live in the purity of love. And therefore, while you are engaged in your human questioning of the Guru, we ask the supreme question: how much do you love? How great is your love? Is your love great enough to make the sacrifice for the overcoming, for the path, for the cause of the great white brotherhood, that others among mankind might also receive the teachings, the law, and the understanding of the fulfillment of the promise of love? Posed with this question, the individual must either retreat into his old ways of the self-centered existence, or come forth from that cocoon of selfishness and fly with the wings of the Spirit, the wings of love that are the certain victory. There is a key in the disciplines to higher consciousness. The key is not to become entangled in the labyrinth of human questioning and the fears and the doubts and the specters of the night that haunt that labyrinth. You do not have to trace the meanderings of the carnal mind and the human consciousness through all of the levels of the subconscious in order to come to the knowledge of truth, in order to come to reality, or to overcome in love. The key is not to be drawn by curiosity, or a fascination with horror, or a gluttony for the things of the senses, drawing you down into more and more astral experiences and psychic phenomena. The key, instead of taking 1,000 steps through the astral plane, is to take one step into the arms of the I Am Presence, into the plane of the Christ mind, where the oneness and the wholeness of that great pyramid, the oneness and the wholeness, is the dissolving action. Transcend your cycles. Do not follow those negative spirals, round and round and round, down and down unto the death manifestation in the very crypt of the electronic belt. But with one invocation to the ascension fire, let that flame leap and arc from spiral to spiral, consuming on contact the debris. The flame is not linear. It need not travel over the lines of human creation, and so your soul, enveloped in the flame also, need not remain any longer in the consciousness that the only way out is through the labyrinth. I say, transcendent. This means that in the moment when you would indulge your pettiness, your argumentation, your human nonsense, your dalliance in childishness, that is the moment when instantly you let go and you let God be the light that swallows you up in the victory of love, and the love that is your victory is your own love, that is God made manifest within you. Love God enough so that you do not need to satisfy human desire. You do not have to appease the carnal mind and give it what it wants so that you will have a moment's peace, an hour's peace. You do not have to engage your energies in imperfection. As much as you think that it is sometimes necessary, I tell you that by meditating within the heart and upon the threefold flame, by meditating upon the presence and keeping that steady flow of energy of loving God, arcing to Him and His love returning, completing the whole of the two arcs as the two halves of the circle. If you can sustain your attention, you will receive the energy necessary to deal with all outer circumstances, and yet without traveling through them in your emotions, in your mental concepts, in your memory, and in physical labor. Think then upon this. The disciplines for higher consciousness demand that you prove how it is that you can be in the world and yet not of this world. And how is it so? To be the disciplined one, astute in the understanding of the law and its counterfeit creation. The first step is to become as a little child. You must become the child of innocence before you can mature to the Christed man and the Christed woman. Do not then try to become the full master of Galilee before you have traced the coils of God consciousness and of Christ consciousness, which are lawfully yours to trace, not the labyrinth of the carnal mind, but the blueprint of the etheric path of initiation, and therefore become as the little child. I will now regress you in your soul awareness to that point of embryonic life, of your consciousness of innocence entering into that form of the tiny babe. Total trust and faith and hope and charity are yours. You have not hardened your heart. You have not hardened yourself to become a cynic in the world. Your skin is tender. It is not toughened by the failures of others. And so in the sweet perfume of your love of mother and the mother's love for you, you remember wholeness in God. And this is all of your identity. You are a babe in Christ. You are calm and serene with the absolute conviction that your life is in God, that God is caring for you. And the most essential quality of becoming this tiny babe is to understand the quality of helplessness. When you are totally helpless, then you must allow God to work His work within you. You can truly say, as the child of Christ, I of mine own self can do nothing. It is the Father in me which doeth the work. You have a clear transparency, purity from the immaculate vision of the cosmic Virgin, immaculately conceived. You know no sin. You know no separation from God. You are in the womb of the Mother. You are surrounded by the waters of the living Word. You are at peace, and life is yours to conquer because you are God in manifestation. Now you are ready for the disciplines whereby the babe will become the child, and the child, as the man-child, will grow and wax strong in the teaching of the Lord. And by the time he is 12, he will know the doctrine of the ascended masters, and he will be discoursing in the temples. And so you come out into outer manifestation, out of the inner womb into the outer womb. Now your habitation is a cosmos, a brave new world, a world filled with light and yet with shadows and darkness, somehow as yet undefined to your precious soul. You come forth and you travel the cycles of your individual cosmic clock, and you bow before the great initiators of life, the solar hierarchies, and each one gives to you the disciplines of the sacred fire, of God power, God love, and God mastery, of God control, God obedience, God wisdom, God harmony, God gratitude, God justice, God reality, God vision, and God victory. Your soul within those 4 lower bodies knows all of this teaching of the cosmic clock. You have been close, so very close to the heartbeat of Mother. And through her heartbeat, you have learned the cycles of the Father. A little child in innocence begins to learn the ways of the world. A little fall and scrape, tears, and demands that cannot be fulfilled, and therefore you learn to fulfill your own demands. The shaping of the feelings and of the mental body, the shaping of the mind, the memory, and the noble form, the form that is to house the spiritual fire of life. This little child, born to be God, as the veils of innocence are parted one by one, and you mature in the understanding of the world as well as the understanding of the law. Take care that you do not forget your source, and the fairies and the undines and the gnomes with whom you frolicked as a little one. Take care that you do not forget the faces of angels who have tended your crib, who have watched over you. Take care that you do not forget that there are masterful beings who took you by the hand and walked with you safely through the places of danger. There are few who will remind you. There are few who will know, for they have all been deprogrammed away from God into the ways of the world. And thus, if you retain your innocence of the little child, you will become the little child who leads all of the aspects of the creation into the knowledge of the Christ. The little child is the leader of the Aquarian age. The little child within you, the little child now coming of age, not forgetting the source, but coming into that oneness of balance, of discrimination, of learning, of mastering the studies necessary to function in this world and to be of service and to have the sacred labor. You must not only become the little child to have the disciplines of higher consciousness, but you must remain the little child. Better to be hurt again and again than to have the cynicism of the existentialists. Better to be taken advantage of than to mistrust your fellow man. Better to live in him and have your being in Christ, and let the world have its ways, than for you to steel yourself with a false set of armor that is not the tube of light, the holy innocence of white fire, but that is the mastering of deceit and intrigue, the mastering of a carnal ego, the mastering of all of its defenses, its indulgences, and all of its experiences which the fallen ones tell you you must have in order to distinguish light and darkness. This is the first and fundamental lie that is told to the child, to take the child from the path of initiation. Come and experience this. Come and experience that. Taste and see. Taste and know whether or not this is for you. God has said that the little child in all innocence need not taste the energy veil, need not partake of it or absorb it or become contaminated by it. And there are many saints, such as Saint Therese of Lisieux, who from early childhood, like Mother Mary and Jesus, have entered into the Holy of Holies and who have found the satisfactions of love in God and in his holy angels. And those who have accepted that lie and entered into the compromises of all of the things that are offered in the marts of the world, today they are burdened by a cross of their own making, a cross of their own karma, a cross that is the hatred of the Divine Mother, in whose womb they live and move and have that being of light. And therefore the little child, maturing to become the master in the way, to carry the cross of world karma, cannot take upon himself that cross of world karma because he is too busy carrying his own cross of selfishness and self-indulgence. And so many are not equipped to enter into the age of responsibility of the sons and daughters of God, to bear the sins of the world as Christ did when he hung upon that cross, the cross not of his own human karma, but the cross of the karma of the race. In every age there must be souls who are willing to bear a certain portion of the weight of world karma. In these times, it is elemental life who bear that weight. For those among mankind who care at all to carry a little extra baggage are few and far between. Those who love are the disciplined ones who can walk through the narrow streets of the cities of the Middle East, where every form of temptation lurks and every aspect of the sins of human consciousness is displayed in these marts, to walk through or to tarry and explore. It is one thing to enjoy a shopping trip. It is another to become addicted to going shopping and to examining the manifestations of human consciousness when you ought to be meditating upon the light that burns within the shops of your very own chakras, the shops of the Buddha and the jewels of the Buddha that are in the jewel shop. Precious ones of fire, Discipline means to withdraw energy, withdraw your attention from its encasement in the tomb of matter. It means to sacrifice the flow of energy into lesser creations and to consecrate it to the one flame of life. You have the pearl of great price. The pearl is the symbol of your causal body, and the layer upon layer of the pearl is the spheres of consciousness that you have built, layer upon layer, around the central core of the I Am Presence. This iridescent mother of pearl is worth all, and therefore the wise man will go and sell all that he has for the one pearl of cosmic consciousness. Its discipline demands that you let go of all of these involvements and realize that from day to day, you never know when your soul will find itself cast on another shore, in the mental plane, in the astral plane, God forbid, or in the etheric octave. If you were in the position of the messenger, you would be in the place to receive, day by day, those who are born and those who are dying, those who come into the physical plane and those who leave. It is a vast parade of souls taking incarnation and moving on. But the disciplines for higher consciousness must be proven in the physical plane, and therefore it is the admonishment of the hierarchy of Luxor to make time and space count, for they are the crucible whereby you prove your God mastery and the alchemy thereof. You require that bowl, you require that matrix that you might fill it with fire. Little progress is made in other planes, for here in matter, in the physical aspect of matter, you made your karma. Here you must balance it. And therefore, let none think that they will live forever and forever in these four lower bodies. They are but vehicles of consciousness which are loaned to you, as all of the energy of God is on loan to you, that you might prove the mastery of free will. I come to you then to give you the concept of discipline. You can read in the Ascension dossier and in other documents and dictations from the flame of purity what are the testings of the soul. You can read what are these disciplines. You can read the life of Jesus and Gautama and perceive very clearly the path to the ascension on the 7 and the 5 rays. But I would come in the mystery of love. I would come in the mystery of the cross of love that is a cross of obedience to the inner law of life. It is a cross of fire. It is the cross and the symbol that was used by Clare, holding it up as that sacred symbol to turn back the Saracens who came warlike in their hatred to tear down the city. And you remember other accounts of saints who have held the host before the oncoming hordes and armies, who have held up the image of the Virgin Mary. And so your cross of love is a cross of white fire. It is a cross of energy which, when it is exalted in consciousness by consecration, reverses the tide of human hatred, reverses the darkness of the night, and is your certain protection on the path of love. Let your burden be light. Let the cross of your karma become a cross of intense devotion and love. And let your burden be light, moment by moment. May you sense that the victory of love is in correct seeing. And if you have the vision of the diamond of the all-seeing eye of God, the fiery core of truth, you will see and know that each succeeding burden is yours, in your hand, to place in the crucible, that it might be transmuted and refined as the gold of love and gold as God consciousness. Let the cross daily be transmuted. Let your cross be a cross of light, so that even while you are balancing your karma, you may carry the weight of world karma in this dark cycle which is manifesting now under the hierarchy of Leo, causing mankind to enter into new lows of selfishness, thoughtlessness, carelessness, a spirit of ingratitude that is actually spiritual material blindness, a failure to see the gifts and the joys and the abundance of the Creator. And carelessness is a failure to love as He loves, as Mother loves, as the innocent child loves while it is yet in the womb. I ask you then, as you make your petitions to the Lords of Karma during this conference, as you write your letters for dispensations, preparing to receive the dispensations that will be written from the Royal Teton Retreat, that will be read to you by the Goddess of Liberty on the 4th of July. As you write your petitions, asking for dispensations, asking for light, will you also tell the Lords of Karma, in the name of your own Christ self, that you are applying to carry a portion of world karma, a portion of the substance of the dark cycle, so that Earth can have a reprieve, so that mankind, especially the people of America, can have an opportunity to know the law and to fortify themselves for the victory. I tell you, as I survey the world scene in all of the dreadfulness of that which is taking place, so much of it unknown to you that it is pathetic, how your leaders have deprived you of the knowledge of what is actually happening in secret diplomacy, in international politics, and even in your state legislatures. As I survey all of this, I see as the one hope that path of initiation that leads to the ascension and the teachings necessary for the path, the teachings of the Great White Brotherhood. I see as the one hope the white fire core of the keepers of the flame, who will carry the teaching and go near and far to disseminate that teaching, to talk and walk with mankind in the way until they awake from their sleep and begin the path of enlightenment in Buddha. The one hope, then, is that somehow in a cosmic interval, a cosmic dispensation of the holding of karma and the holding of time and space, that millions will come into a new devotion to Christ and Buddha, will come into a devotion to meditation and the invocations given in the science of the spoken word, that by this action of understanding and vision and a demonstration of the law, nations and peoples and continents will be saved from a downward planetary spiral of death, destruction, and disintegration. Let it be then, for this is my call to the Lords of Karma, ere the final decisions are made during this cycle of the year. My call and my petition is then for a cosmic interval, an opportunity for keepers of the flame and people of light everywhere to demonstrate the law and the disciplines thereof, to set the example, to radiate the crown of wisdom, to raise up the energies of Mother. This is my petition, and I am also volunteering to carry a portion of world karma. And yet I know that that request cannot be granted because an ascended master cannot bear world karma. Only those who are unascended can bear the causes and effects in this world. But I ask it nevertheless, for I ask it, hoping that my chelas will observe my petition, and that the chelas of the ascension flame will likewise make that call, and having made that call, stand fast, and be ready to receive all manifestations less than the Christ which might begin to appear in your world. For you see, that burden can become light, and be transmuted before it ever cycles through your 4 lower bodies, and therefore the bearing of the weight of world karma need not be a via dolorosa, but a way of joy, a way of victory and overcoming. For as soon as that energy of world karma is given to you, you consecrate it to the Holy Spirit and the sacred fire. It is transmuted, and lo, your burden is light. This is the calling. Let the blessed saints and the devotees of the Catholic Church hear my words, for they do carry in their bodies much of the momentum of the death spirals, and this is why the priests and the nuns have worn black for so long. They are bearing the weight of the momentum of planetary death in the name of their Lord. They are bearing the energy so that mankind can pass through the initiation of the crucifixion. And those who have not understood their path and their calling have ridiculed that they have the crucifix everywhere. For others who are engaged in other initiations would prefer to see Christ resurrected from the tomb in the garb of the resurrection and the ascension. Well, all initiations are valid, and therefore let us have tolerance, for the entire body of God must carry in manifestation these initiations, and therefore the great religions of the world were founded, so that each group mandala might work out that specific way and calling as an example to all. And now you have come to the place of responsibility where you can stand in the center of the sun, and all of the rays of all of the teachings of all of the religions going out from the center converge in your heart chakra. And now you have the synthesis of the teaching of the mother, and so you can be a member of a world religion that is not controlled by the World Council of Churches and the fallen ones who seek to possess mankind. But it is a world religion of the Great White Brotherhood and its teachings. It is a world religion of the converging of souls in the flame of the Christ consciousness. It is a world religion of love, of all who have loved enough to surrender those portions of the self that are out of the way with Christ. And so I say, let us have our cosmic interval. Let us have our cosmic moment and allow the Divine Mother to show the world the teaching of teachings, the great synthesis of all of the great gurus, the gurus who are now the ascended masters who come to claim their own. In the victory of ascension fires, I am Serapis Bey. I welcome you to Luxor. But I say, if you come to study in our retreat, if you come to prepare for the ascension, if you come to our retreat, then I say, come to stay.